All told, this economy grew by 5.7% last year in 2021, the fastest growth in 40 years. And in the process, doing all this, we still cut the deficit last year by $350 billion just last year alone, and by an additional $1 trillion this year if the budget goes through. So folks, don't tell me this trickle-down idea is the only way to grow an economy. We're actually lowering the deficit, not increasing it. And after a long, tough stretch, Americans are back to work. Our economy has gone from being on the mend to being on the move. Now, I know that we're still facing challenges of high prices, inflation. I grew up in a family where when the price of gasoline went up at the pump, it was a conversation at the kitchen table with my dad. Putin's invasion of Ukraine has driven up gas prices and food prices all over the world. Ukraine and Russia are the 1 and 2 largest wheat producers in the world. We're number 3. They're shut down. We saw that in yesterday's inflation data. What people don't know is that 70% of the increase in inflation was a consequence of Putin's price hike because of the impact on oil prices. 70%. We need to address these high prices, and urgently, for working folks out there. And that's part of why what I'm going to talk to you about today, why it's so important. When we build more in America, we increase economic capacity, and ultimately it helps lower everyday prices for families. That's what we're starting to see. Look around. American manufacturing is coming back. Once again, we're seeing the pride that comes from stamping a product made in America. Companies are choosing to build their new factories here in America. When just a few years ago, as you all know, that wouldn't have been the case. They would have built the factory overseas. Intel is building the chairman of the board of Intel asked to come and see me a little over a month ago. He's building a semiconductor mega site just outside of Columbus, Ohio, investing $20 billion. And by the way, we invented this little thing we call about the size of a fingertip. And guess what? Every advancement is because of us. We don't make them anymore here. You go to Taiwan and other places to get it. Up to 8 state-of-the-art factories are going to be in one place that Intel is building. 7,000 new jobs building the facility and 3,000 jobs running the facility. You know what the average salary of these jobs running the facility will be? $135,000 a year. Making computer chips the size of a fingertip that power the world in our everyday lives. Smartphones, internet, technology that doesn't even exist today. If Congress passes the Bipartisan Innovation Act, which the Congresswoman talked about, and it's on my desk, puts it on my desk right now, Intel is ready and they've committed to add, in addition to the $20 billion, $100 billion more. $120 billion in one site. That's just the start. And Intel alone. We're seeing it right here, thanks to the leadership of Governor Cooper and Congresswoman Manning. In last year's Thomas built buses at High Point, which I went down to see. It's incredible. What you all are doing is really incredible. They got the largest order to date in North America to build electric school buses, electric school bus fleets, which Administrator Regan can tell you will mean hundreds of thousands of our children will no longer be inhaling exhaust from diesel school buses. And they function and they roll. Volvo trucks, with the research and development headquarters here in Greensboro, got the largest commercial order ever for electric trucks. And just a few months ago, Toyota announced it will invest $1.3 billion to build a new electric battery manufacturing plant right here in Greensboro. And folks, you know what that also means? Not just the factory, but the IBW is going to be putting in 530,000 charging stations throughout America. 530,000. And when this plant comes online, this could produce enough batteries to power 800,000 vehicles per year with room to grow. It's going to create 1,750 good-paying jobs right here in the Greensboro community. And folks, by the way, you know, it's not just, there's a lot else happening. If I can divert just a second here. I had Mary Barra, the chairman of the board of General Motors. Remember when about 10 months ago, she was suing the state of California for having a higher standard required for gasoline, have to go more miles per gallon? She was suing them, saying you can't do what the federal government hadn't done. Well, guess what? We had a long talk. You know, no, I didn't know. I mean, it was her idea, not mine. But we had a long talk. Guess what? She decided not only did she drop the suit, but they're going to have 50% of all the vehicles made at General Motors electric vehicles by the year 2030. And guess what? Then Ford came along. Ford came along. They did the same thing. They're investing billions of dollars, 1.7. I mean, this is a major fundamental shift that's taking place. And America's finally deciding to catch up and lead it instead of being outpaced by China and other countries. All told, thus far, we've created 365,000 new manufacturing jobs in America just last year. That's the best year for U.S. manufacturing in the last 30 years. And even you students who are younger, how many, when you're coming up and hear your parents talk about manufacturing is dead in America? It's not going to happen in America. There's not a thing, not a single thing America cannot do. Not a single thing where we can't outcompete the rest of the world. I mean it. Not a single thing. We set our mind to it.